Recently, Little Caesars has made some noise with their freshly released Cheesesteak Crazy Puffs. As described on their website, these Cheesesteak Crazy Puffs consist of 4 handheld pizzas made with seasoned sliced steak and onions, melted cheeses, and topped with Parmesan. Some of my personal favorite food reviewers on YouTube have reviewed these very favorably, so I thought it'd be worthwhile to give my 2 cents and check these things out. Starting out with the price, as is the case with most products at Little Caesars, this is pretty darn dirt cheap in my opinion. This one runs $3.99 for the 4 Cheesesteak Crazy Puffs. Before even taking a bite, it feels like the value is pretty high there in my opinion. But as we get into this stuff, I think it looks pretty appealing cosmetically. There's a good crisp and a golden brown nature, almost a Detroit pizza style caramelized crust on the top portion. As I break one down the middle, I see that there is a saucy, gooey cheese, like a white cheese sauce that you might get on your typical Philly cheesesteak sandwich. And there is certainly that Parmesan sprinkling on the top. So I'd say these are presented well, but of course we are here beyond just the cosmetic portion. We're here to eat and taste them. So let's check them out. Upon first bite, I was pretty impressed. I took a big bite down the middle to make sure I would get some of the internal filling, and it's flavorful. Quite explosive with flavor, honestly. Savory, umami, and like you're biting into a good moist cheesesteak sandwich. Now, I do have to say I wish that there was more of the filling. You can even see the one that I cut open. It seems like there is too high of a dough to filling ratio, in my opinion, and that made it a little bit dry overall in the whole experience. I want that cheesesteak flavor, especially that sauce on the inside, to be permeating every bite, and it didn't quite get there. It might have been overdone in my case, but it had a little bit of a sandpaper-like texture on the external portions. So while the flavor overall was really good, certain bites were lacking a little bit in the ideal texture. One other really mild complaint I would make about these is that there could have been a little bit more meat in it for my preferences. I may be asking for too much here with a product that's only $3.99, but if it had a little bit more meat and that filling was a little bit more abundant throughout, I would have really, really loved this product. Overall, quite flavorful. I would get them again. It's a good deal overall. It's definitely not something that breaks the bank. And I think it's worth trying out at $3.99. I don't think you'll be disappointed. And perhaps the quality and the consistency varies from one location to the next. Like I said, I saw some reviewers online that had nothing negative to say about these. Maybe that filling was exactly where it needed to be for them in their batches. For me, I was just looking for a little bit more of that filling, including the steak and that cheesy sauce. The onions were a nice touch, but I could have used more of that internal filling in general to make it a more moist and favorable texture. At the end of the day, do I think you should try these? Yeah, I really don't think there's a whole lot to lose at a $3.99 price point. Little Caesars continues to have great deals, and this is a quality product. I'm definitely intrigued to see what other new stuff they roll out this year. That's all I have to say for this video. Let me know if you've tried these Cheesesteak Crazy Puffs. What were your thoughts on them? And would you get them again? Thanks for tuning in. I look forward to chatting in the comments as always, and I'll see you guys in the very next video. Peace.